Why do weekends always feel like a blur? Sometimes your weekend does not fail, it dies under mysterious circumstances. One minute you're vibing on a Friday afternoon full of hope, serotonin, and a suspicious number of unread texts. You have plans. Maybe not organized plans, but vibes. The vibes are immaculate. And then you blink, it's Sunday night, you're face down in a laundry pile, your fridge has one expired hummus. And you're Googling, where did my Sunday go, like it's a normal adult thing to do. Let's be honest, weekends don't always have to crash and burn. Sometimes they just misfire. They limp quietly across the finish line, no explosion, just confusion. So today, we're going to do what any responsible adult does after an unexplained event. We are going to run a postmortem for your weekend. Not to guilt trip you, not to turn your soul into a productivity dashboard, just to understand what the heck happened. The false promise weekend, aka this time I'll actually rest. Let me paint a picture. It's Friday night, you're tired but you're optimistic, you light a candle, you put your phone on do not disturb, you whisper to yourself like a little weekend witch, this time I'll rest. You imagine a montage of slow breakfast, maybe journaling. You'll take a walk, listen to jazz, read a novel while drinking tea that you actually don't like. You're romanticizing the weekend like it's a French indie film, and you're the emotionally bruised protagonist with stunning cheekbones and unresolved issues. But here's what actually happens. Saturday morning, you wake up late and now you're mad about wasting time. So you clean aggressively. You're scrubbing the baseboards while muttering self-care like it's a threat. Then you decide to go out because that's what well-adjusted people do. So you go for a walk and end up buying $37 worth of snacks that you did not need and a houseplant that you're not emotionally prepared to care for. Sunday, you try to reset, but instead of reading that novel, you scroll through memes about how reading is impossible because we live in the collapse of civilization. Suddenly, it's 10:04 p.m. and you're making mac and cheese and wondering if this counts as dinner. Here's the thing, you did not fail, but you made rest into a task and that broke it. You tried to schedule peace into a weekend that already started tired. Why does it matter? Because we keep telling ourselves the next weekend will fix us. And that little silence and snacks will heal our burnout. And when it doesn't, we blame ourselves instead of asking, what am I even trying to recover from? The productivity weekend that became a spreadsheet cult. AKA, I cleaned the entire house and I still hate myself. It starts with one innocent checklist, do laundry, meal prep, vacuum. Finally open that envelope from the DMV. Just the basics. You're not trying to be a productivity guru. You're just trying to catch up on life. Because life, it's behind on literally everything. You write it all down, then you color code it, then you make subtasks, then you write take a break smiley face as a bullet and you forget to check it off because you did not take a break. Suddenly it's 4 p.m. on Saturday and you've reorganized your fridge, decluttered your inbox and deep cleaned your bathtub with a toothbrush and now you feel emotionally guilty for retiring. And yet, you feel nothing. Not accomplished, not energized, just tired, vaguely hollow, like the shell of a sim whose aspiration meter won't refill. What happened here? This is what I call productivity cult mode. It's the belief that if you do enough, you will deserve rest. And that rest is earned like a coffee shop punch card. Buy 10 tasks, get one free nap. But here's the thing, you're not a Roomba. You don't need to dock yourself after cleaning square footage. You're a person with bandwidth and limits, and the inability to clean your way out of existential dread. The reason this habit forms is simple. It worked once. You cleaned your kitchen, felt proud, and that pride silenced your anxiety. Now, every time you feel off, you reach for the mop. But it's not about the kitchen anymore. It's about control. If everything is clean, maybe your brain will be too. Spoiler alert, it won't. Your brain is not a junk drawer. It's a haunted mansion of unprocessed feelings, and sweeping the floor does not do exorcisms. Personal anecdote, I once installed a to-do list app with automated priorities, daily reminders, and a dopamine-themed progress bar, just so that I could clean over the weekend. And yes, I gave up halfway through, deleted the app, and took a nap. Why this matters over a lifetime? Because you keep burning your weekends, earning peace like it's a bonus, not a baseline. And if you keep running this loop, you'll blink and realize that your rest never came. It's always waiting for you to feel done, and you never do. The existential void weekend, aka I was technically alive for 2 days. There are weekends that are too busy, there are weekends that are too productive, and then there is the third kind, the void weekend, where nothing happened. Not in a peaceful spa day kind of way. More like you're alive, but not really conscious. You watched 17 YouTube videos about building a cabin in the woods. You opened your email, saw 3 urgent things, closed your email, and opened Instagram instead. You stood in your kitchen with a spoon in the peanut butter jar, wondering, is this lunch? And before you know it, it's Sunday night and you're asking all the big questions. Where did the time go? Did I rest or lose time in the loading screen of my own life? Is this what weekends are now? A weird limbo between caffeine and regret? How does this happen? Honestly, it's not laziness, it's depletion. Sometimes your brain just blue screens. You think I should do laundry. Your brain goes, cool, what if we dissociate for 4 hours instead? And this isn't new. It's the quiet cousin of burnout, the one that doesn't show up in flames but in buffering wheels. The habit forms when the line between rest and shutdown gets blurry. And before you know it, you think you're recharging while you're actually numbing. Anecdote, there was one weekend where I watched an entire season of a show that I did not even like. I just let it play, not because it was good, but choosing something else felt like a task. And choice requires energy that I did not have. Why this matters over a lifetime? Because when disconnection becomes your default, joy becomes an accident. You stop planning for delight and you just hope it shows up. And if you stack too many of these weekends in a row, you don't notice you're unhappy, just that you're never quite excited to be awake. The red herring weekend. Everything seemed fine and yet I'm still tired. Some weekends are obvious disasters, others are suspiciously functional. You cleaned, you meal prepped, you saw a friend, maybe even did something whimsical like touch grass or experience joy. And yet Sunday night hits and you're staring at a wall. You're tired, not sleepy tired, just spiritually tired. Welcome to the red herring weekend. Everything looked fine on paper, but emotionally, it was a filler episode. Nothing happened, nothing broke, but also nothing healed. Why does this happen? Because sometimes your weekend gets hijacked by the illusion of balance. You did all the right things, but none of these things were real. You didn't feel anything deeply, you didn't rest deeply, you didn't connect deeply. You skimmed your life like it was a terms and conditions page. And here's the kicker. That kind of weekend does not leave you angry. It leaves you confused. Like, wait, did I dream this entire weekend? Or was I just a sim again? I once had a whole weekend where I checked everything off my list and felt like I hadn't shown up. Like I was cosplaying as a person with a well-managed calendar. What do we do now? Zoom out, evaluate everything in months, not in weekends. Because one off weekend, it's noise, but 4 in a row, that's a pattern. And patterns need pivot. Maybe it's time to adjust the bar, not lower it, just tilt it sideways. Ask yourself, am I building weekends that actually restore me or just perform productivity in fun colors? Because your weekend isn't a resume, it does not need to impress anyone. It just needs to feel like it's yours. And if you've been outsourcing your joy to a checklist, let this be your permission slip to cancel one thing next weekend and replace it with something deeply stupid but fun, like watching ducks or learning a dance or lying face down on your carpet listening to early 2000s music. Whatever it takes to short circuit the loop, do that. Try again next Friday. Debug. Don't despair. Because every weekend is a glitch, maybe it's not your fault. Maybe it's just time for an update. And if you're still confused, congratulations. That means you're human. Hey, if your weekends keep dying suspiciously, subscribe. We're building a case file. Like this video if you're emotionally imploded at 7 p.m. on a Sunday. Comment if your houseplant knows more about your regrets than your therapist. And share this with a friend who's currently rage folding their laundry and pretending it's self-care. Because you deserve better weekends, or at least weirder ones.